Okay, you're still alive? That was not the right answer. You're still alive. Okay, great. As I mentioned, I'm Milan Gabor. I know that Gabor means cops in a bad way in Romanian, right? Yeah, I know. So I was developer once, now I'm a pen tester. I run a small pen testing company from Slovenia. I'm also, besides Ljubljana founder. So if you're somewhere around April next year, somewhere close to Slovenia, you're more than welcome to join. And tell me, I can tell you a little bit secret about the dev camp. You know, has anybody been at the third dev camp? Third, 2012. I've been. And you know what? The dev camp was my first international conference as a presenter. I decided to go, to Romania, and if I fail, it's better to fail in Romania. But you know what? After that, these are locations I presented all around the world. So you see, it's possible. So it's also Dev Camp as a really good opportunity to start as a presenter. Okay, what's going to be agenda since I have plenty of slides? And I have also live demos that probably will go wrong because I didn't pray to the demo gods yesterday, because yesterday I was still in Dublin doing presentations at noon. So just doing a presentation, running on a plane, getting here to present it here. Okay, we will shortly go through the HIT devices, what kind of tools, what kind of scenarios, and you will see that there is a plenty of things going on. Okay, do I need to explain what HIT device is? Probably no, but mostly we are talking, all devices, we really like to be keyboards. Why? Because with keyboards you can input some strings. But normally it can be also mouses, game controllers, clickers. See this one, that everybody's using it? It can type. Now it can not only click, it can type. I wanted to show you a demo, but problem is with the clickers because they're kind of slow. So we won't be showing it, but trust me, this can type. It can type whatever you want. There are medical devices, and actually HIT device is any device that meets HIT specification. So this is also one kind of the device which behaves as a keyboard. And if we go through a little bit back to the future, we've seen different kind of devices. This is from 2011, which is quite expensive, which can be used as a keyboard. The second one, which is even more expensive, so it looks like a cable, but it's not a cable. It's actually a HIT device. If you have $200, it's worth it. Then you have different devices which are really cheap. So like $3. And you can run scripts on it. But the problem is because they are not very, let's say, well designed, so it's hard to stick them in a cable. It's really easy to weaponize it. With this, you own the machine. So you just run some kind of PowerShell, and that's it. Then last year, Luca Bongiorni created a really nice tool, which is something like this, or actually it is this. So it looks like USB key, and it's not USB key. Actually, he managed to marry HIT device and the Wi-Fi. So you don't have to be near. So you can just plug the USB key in, and you can, over the Wi-Fi, send the commands. It's really nice build. It's a little bit about $15, and it really works. For example, this one is weaponized in a manner. So if I stick this USB key into your computer, your Wi-Fi passwords that are stored in your Windows store, your Wi-Fi passwords goes with me. How? We will explain a little bit later. So this year, he created even more sophisticated tool because otherwise, if you have the Wi-Fi, you have to be near. This vHIT Elite, it was just released. It has GSM modem. So you can actually control it over the GSM networks. So you just plug it in, and you have the keyboard remotely accessed. So you might get some other ideas how to use it. What are the normal attack scenarios? Probably just dropping USB sticks, with the payloads, different kind of payloads, with the PowerShell. PowerShell is still today very popular. Or you can use some other tools to download malicious files like certutil or bitadmin, which are found on every Windows machine. Or this is not only a keyboard, because these devices can have multiple personalities. What does this mean? It can behave like a keyboard, like a mouse, thumb drive, or like a serial port. So with this one, you can actually extract over the serial port all files from the desktop. And this one is actually using COM-port to exfiltrate the Wi-Fi passwords. As I said, VHIT, actually, you need to be close for the Wi-Fi limits. Okay, then we had in 2016, I don't know, who remembers MouseJack? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Every big issues, they get kind of logo of issues. No? And what we found out that still, since 2016, there is a tool called Jackit, so you can actually inject yourself into non-secured, non-encrypted communication between the dongle and the mouse. And there is still huge number of devices that are actually still vulnerable to this. Why we will get a little bit later, why this is still so. So how was weather here in Romania? How was summer? Hot. Okay, it was not hot only here, but also regarding the CVEs. Does somebody recognize those CVEs? Yes? All of them? Anybody else? We have one guy who's recognized what these CVEs are. But let me try to rephrase my question. I guess you know this company. Okay? You know that company, right? Who's using Logitech products? Not anymore, yeah. And the biggest problem was this, the Logitech with this little yellow-orange sign, like unifying connector, so you can connect to one receiver, multiple devices. So these CVEs are actually, all CVEs are connected with Logitech issues. So as you've seen, the first one is AES key sniffing from pairing. So what does this mean? So if somebody listens and it's actually close to you when you are pairing your device, he can get the AES key. And what does this mean? He can actually intercept and modify or send or decrypt, if it's a keyboard, actually decrypt all the communication between your keyboard and your computer. Possibility to injection keys dumped from USB from presentation clickers. So from these kind of devices, majority of them, they're still vulnerable. So because when is the last time you updated firmware on your receiver, on your disk? When was the last time you updated firmware here? Huh? The guy stopped using it. That was maybe the best solution. And also, they found some other issues like key dump. So the problem is also with this device. If somebody gets your hands on it and it's still vulnerable, he can dump your keys. So it just plugs in, dumps the keys, put it back in, and you lose all encryption between your keyboard and your computer. Okay, what I'm gonna show you next, this is not our research. For the last three visits to DevCamp, we were showing our research, but this is the actual research that was done by others, but we, let's say, contributed a little bit. First of all, they have been two different kind of, let's say, researchers who were researching in the same area. The first one they presented in June at Confidence in Poland, and they presented also again on October 29 at HackLU. So if you want to see what's actually, they are going into real technical details about it. You can see the presentation, it's all online already. But we will be talking about this guy who actually made really, really, let's say, great software. I don't know who's using PoundPy? PoundPy? You're not Marcus, right?
I would like to be, but no.
You'd like to be, yes, but not. Okay, he's a really great researcher and great person with some really crazy, crazy ideas. And he also proposed for the Black Hat talk, but he was rejected. And I really think that was a big mistake from the Black Hat committee, because he would have really something, some really nice things to show. And after that, you know, when we started talking with him, he said, like, since this is a big issue, because almost everybody is using Wi-Fi and Logitech devices, you know, he really wanted to draw attention, security community, and make customers aware. So he said, like, here, you know, have it, play with it, and go and talk about it, because he cannot go to all the conferences around the world. So he's actually the author of Logitecher. So it's kind of not only a software, it's kind of combination. It's a hardware tool to enumerate. So it's actually his software. It's running on, let me see if I can plug. It's on this one. You know? With the mouse jack before, we had to have program running on our computer and using like Nordic hardware to be able to inject ourselves. But with this one, everything is combined. So the software is actually running here. So you only need to have like, I don't know, PuTTY or screen connecting to it, and you can have everything running here. So you don't have to install any additional software on your machine. There's plenty of Logitecher features which are available from discovering. So you're going to see when I'm going to be running it live, you're going to see that because this device has antenna, so you will see probably somewhere also, as we measured, from 30 to 50 meters. So if somebody is using mouse somewhere there, you still get the packets. So you can still listen or inject yourself into it. So you have the key pairing. So you can sniff for the key pairs. You get the AES key. You can save it. You can save this. You can write the scripts. It's really awesome, and you have the releases for different kind of devices on his GitHub. If you want to play with it, there are 4 different boards that supports Logitecher. The first one, it's Nordic, which costs about $30. But it's really nice because you can stuck it, because it's really designed, you can stuck it in like USB key, which looks like this. I took this from one of the Slovenian conferences, took it apart and put it in this Nordic board. Then you have Maker Diary, 2 different dongles. One is with the possibility of external antenna, and I will be playing with this April brother dongle, which is, let's say, less expensive, but the quality is so-so. From 5 or 4 purchased, only one is working now at the moment. So these are the hardwares. So if you, let's say, if you spot that somebody is using kind of antennas, something like this, it might be getting real suspicious, like there, like here, but you can get really long range. So as I said, from 30 to 50 meters. What does this mean? If you manage, let's say, to get to close to some potential, I don't know, company that you're attacking, of course, with authorization to do it, so you can get it from the parking lot, let's say, the traffic that is going on, that is going through. With these 2 boards, they don't have antenna, so they're kind of limited. So if you're in the same room, then this would be probably possible. Has anybody been walking through the CTF arena? Did anybody check, did they have Logitech mouses on it? You might get crazy ideas. If you're some other team, you might be messing with their inputs, and typing and stuff. And I checked. There are some Logitech mouses used there, and I don't know. I didn't check if their firmware is updated. And there's a third device, a little bit bigger, but it also has possibility to external antenna. Also, these devices, they are not only one device. It's actually, let's say, a combination of 4 devices. One is used as a serial port. The other one is used, well, it can be used as a mouse, so you can actually replay. What does this mean? So if you manage to get the keys, or he's using, let's say, non-encrypted communication, and let's say you transfer, you sniff their, let's say, mouse movement, actually your mouse moves. So as he moves, your mouse moves. And the same with the keyboard. So everything that he's typing on his keyboard, and you can listen to it, you can get all the keyboard that are pressing. And also definitely the raw devices, so everything that is getting, and this is the raw device that we used, so we can actually decode. We managed to write some tools for Windows that can actually store and manage the key logger. So Logitech actually covers these different kind of vulnerabilities. The old one that's are from 2016, this is plain injection, so if there is no encryption, who knows if your mouses are using some kind of encryption? Who can, let's say that my mouse uses encryption? What? Your? Wire. Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, but if somebody sticks USB sniffer, then it's a problem. But yes, yeah, it counts, definitely. And I've seen a lot of wired mouses at the CTF area. So they know why. But and there are some other vulnerabilities that actually Logitech covers. Okay, since I have only 30 minutes, you know, I've been running really fast, and I don't want to be late. Let's go to the demo. So as I said, we have here this device that's actually dongle updated with Marcus firmware. And now, if we try to see what's actually going on, let's see if this connects. So now there's, it looks like you turn off all your mices. So, because there is no traffic. But as you see, as I move my mouse, oh, you don't see anything. Almost. Yeah, change the font, it will take a long, but let me see if I can do this better. A little bit, let's see this. But you see, as I move my mouse, you see that it's actually sniffing. So if the guy from the video, you have also wireless mouse? No, too bad. Wireless mouse, no, on the corner. We will probably see. I've been sitting in near the CTF. There is plenty of movement there. So as you see, we have seen all the devices. And how many devices we see here? It's only the, let's say, lock, halt devices. So we see here that we have somewhere near here about 4 devices. One is mine. How do I know? Because I already was playing before, and you see that I already have the key. So I can, let's say, inject or listen to everything that my mouse is doing. Okay, so that's the first. But we can definitely store this. You see devices, we can store it, and we are storing this on this device. So if you plug it to some other computer, you will have the same keys and same devices and same scripts, because you can also write the script. So if you can write a script, if some device is found, you can actually start poking around with it. Okay, now let's try to inject ourselves into the communication. One short question, what do you think? In this type, how do you type this? How do you type A on your keyboard, on your machine with this? Left click, right click. But can somebody try? Okay, I have a virtual machine here. Let's do it a challenge. Let's do a challenge. Okay, you see, this dongle is connected to here, so to this virtual machine. So see, it's only running here. So challenge for you. How can you type A with that? Draw it, yeah, but no, real A. Using virtual keyboard, yeah. can try. You have 5 seconds to use it. Okay, 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, you cannot do it, But let me try. Let's get my mouse back. I lost on one already at the some presentation, so. Let's try with simple. Let's try with simple. Let's say a script load. So this is kind of script that's actually saved already here. I will load it. I will select a target, and I will try to execute this script. I can show you later what's actually doing, but let's see. See, mouse is actually active here. So in this area, that mouse is connected over the VMware with virtual. Yeah, let's see if this one will be working, since the live demos normally don't go really well. But let's see if this one will write something to that screen. So as you've seen, I don't have a keyboard in, but I have a mouse inside. So it was written. So actually this mouse can write if you have the decryption key, or if you have no encryption between your mouse and your receiver. Okay, hello DevCamp, it's quite good, but can we do some really bad stuff? Yes, what kind of bad stuff? PowerShell, some other, yeah. Why? Because if I own keyboard, I own your computer. And if I own your computer, I own your digital identity. And everything that I do, even if I'm sitting in some other room, I'm actually doing in your, let's say, in your digital identity. I try with some other, but let's see. Probably this one would be also very interesting. Let's see if this one gets through. Okay. Why it's waiting? Because I set delay for several seconds. You see, it was running, and we got the web page. Probably we can run the PowerShell or download something or something else. See. Okay. The other thing that we can do is, I was also, my intention was to show that also this one can click. Well, these remote clickers are a little bit limited because they cannot send normal characters. They are limited to send only, I think, 4 or 6 different characters to the unifying dongle. But there is a trick. Who's using Windows? Okay, who's using Mac? You're safe. Who's using Linux? Cool, you're also safe. Why? Because I don't know if you remember, how would you write if your A is not working? So letter A on keyboard stucks, or it's not working. How would you write A, but not with handwriting? No. Okay, without virtual keyboard. Yeah, ASCII. Alt and on a numerical keyboard, Alt 065. Some of them still remember, and that's the trick. So with the alternatives, you can write with this also, because Alt and other stuff, other numerical, can write this. So that was the trick. So if you're gonna try, you will be playing with Logitecher, you have to use alternative string, because otherwise it will not work. Okay, I have this video. I actually I saved. I made a small video because I probably would fail something, because now this one, you see, the unifying dongle doesn't have any device. And when we are pairing, if somebody is listening, he can also see that he gets the pairing key. So device, you see, it was paired. And if you're listening to that pairing process, and because of the issues that had Logitech products, you can actually get the key. And if you get the key, you can decrypt all the communication. And you're going to see that I will be typing something, DevCamp rules. But the problem is that we get two. If you press one letter, we get the 2 letters. Why? Because, as I said, I enabled a passive enumeration. So everything that I'm typing here, it's actually sniffed and repeated again. So that's sniffing. So when you're pairing, go to Faraday cage. So nobody is listening about, and nobody has possibility to steal the keys. Additional tool that Marcus released was Munifying tool. It looks like he likes Golang, so compile it on Linux because it's used libusb, and actually can dump. It actually can dump the keys from these dongles. So that's why, as I said, also if your keyboard is connected over this dongle, keep this dongle secure. What is our contribution when we have been playing? Because we have been, let's say, we had an honor to be part of the private repos before going to public. We had some summer school students during the summer, and he made a little bit tool, not on a Linux, on a Windows. And after that, Marcus created a new version that can be easily, let's say, changed. But still, we have, let's say, some good scenario for that. This tool looks like this. So in everything that is pressed, of course, you need a decryption key. It's actually displayed also here. But with another addition, this tool can save all the communication. So all the communication through the Logitech into a file. And if you manage to get the key later, it can decrypt everything that somebody was typing on. So for example, if I sniff your keyboard, I don't need to have the encryption key now at this moment. I can save all the communication. After, I don't know, days, months, or years, when I get the encryption key, I can decrypt all the communication between your keyboard and your machine. So this is actually our contribution. If somebody wants to play, it's actually published on GitHub. Okay. When we have been playing, Logitech also keeps very updated version. So this one is from 2014. So probably it has also some kind of other issues. And I've been almost on time. I'm still on time? Okay. Nobody's trying to get me off the stage. Okay, let's get some crazy ideas about what can we do about it. Probably HID devices can be used for different purposes. And also Logitech, these devices can be used. For example, something like this. Now it's going to be Christmas. Yeah. So if somebody wants to give some really nice plasma ball to somebody, he can weaponize it with some HID device that can type. So it can be typing on his computer. Or if you have really good business partners, you can send them weaponized mouses. Why? Because every mouse has little USB hub inside, and you just have to connect to that USB. See here, it's actually a weaponized HID device, and this is normal mouse. So if you take it apart, weaponize it, pack it back, send it, probably this mouse can also type. So there are some other, after Marcus was doing this, there were some other crazy ideas, like from Luca. He can actually change this kind of cable. So probably if you see this cable on a table, what would you see? What would you tell? It's normal what? Normal charger, right? But it's with some addition, because here you can actually put in the Logitech receiver that you can buy on eBay for like $3, and you have the control of that. Receiver, and you can actually again type on somebody else's computer while you're charging, which is not completely true. Why? Because if you're charging, you're taking all the power, and the HID device doesn't work. So it's a little bit drawback. And there were some other things, that's, I don't know if somebody understands Slovenian. One guy was asking me when we have been putting this on Twitter, what should we do about the Logitech? Should we just throw all devices into trash? Well, almost. Yeah, because Luca also said that Logitech with USB Samurai cable plus air gaps bypass, you can actually own all systems. So nuclear plants, power grids. So probably this is one good thing also for Jason Street for his next adventure. And some other crazy ideas. At the same time when this was going on, Logitech UK, so Logitech G, so this kind of gamers edition, so gamer mouses like model G502. There were young gamers showing how they cut their Logitech cords, and saying, we want to switch to the Wi-Fi mouses. Now, that's not a good idea. Why? Because if you try to do this with G52 unifying dongle, it's even faster, so you can type faster. So the connection speed is faster because the gamers need speed. So can you imagine running this on LAN party and injecting somewhere, if you have like, I don't know, in Slovenia we had like 400 people coming to the LAN party, and you're just injecting into, owning their computers. It could be really, really fun. Or, as I mentioned already before, if somebody at the CTF, you might have some, let's say, not friendly other teams that could actually play with some communication. And some people, for example, this one, Philip Cran, he's actually working for Elasticsearch. Some of them that are really going on through the presentation take it seriously. And if you own some, let's say, clicker or some other device, actually Logitech will replace it to you free of charge if you send it. So it's not that bad. Can you imagine at some big conference like here, and playing with somebody's clicker? I know when I was the presenter before me, explaining what I'm going to do, he said, please don't play with my clicker. Please don't play with my clicker. So I was not. I was what? So what are the solutions? What are the mitigations? So definitely we cannot disable USB, right? Because with USB, they are coming also the unifying receivers. Probably the best way should be update your dongle. The only problem is if you're running some, Windows, they are not updated automatically. You have to download the firmware, you have to update it. Or, as I do, you can use Bluetooth mouse. That's also a solution. But we have seen, this year also Bluetooth had issues. So it's also a fun part. So the corded mouse, it's definitely maybe the best solution. Of course, so if you're in some kind of enterprise, high mission critical area, definitely you need kind of device management to know what was being inserted into. Probably there's also very, let's say, a lot of place for improvement also regarding the digital forensic. So how do you know if I plugged in the unified dongle that I don't need extra permission for it? And maybe the best one is, so you just need to secure your dongle. So does this mean you have to lock it or you never leave it out of your sights? So, and as the last slide, as you have seen, the hit devices, let's make them great again. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for an awesome presentation. Now, are there any questions?
Sure.
Pick one.
What frequencies is Logitech working? Because I was thinking about software-defined radio.
Sorry, what?
I was thinking about software-defined radio.
Yeah.
On what frequencies?
This is 2.4 gigs, so Wi-Fi.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and regarding the Logitech, sometimes also the big companies screw up. They issue a patch, but the problem was they made a wrong patch. So actually they fixed the thing that you cannot dump the keys from the transceivers, but there was a trick. Oops. There was a trick. You can actually downgrade the firmware on your dongle and the keys still stay there on the dongle, and then just dump the keys and upgrade it again. So
There's a question here on the left.
Yeah, here. Are there any public incidents in which this kind of vulnerability has been exploited? Because during an awareness program, it will be a good idea to use
Yes.
real-life examples.
I'm not aware, but when I showed this to one of the ministries in Slovenia, they all took, of these ministers, they all took Wi-Fi mouses from them. And they put them on cabled mouses, so corded mouses.
Okay, it's just
But we have
suspicion.
not been aware because it's really hard because it doesn't leave so much traces. So because these dongles, you're plugging them in, you're plugging it out. So if you don't have some really good digital forensics or logging mechanism, you don't even know. So, but I'm not aware. But probably, let's say, adversaries are probably doing this on a large scale.
Thanks.
All right. Questions from the right?
Okay, first of all, really nice presentation. Second of all, regarding that tweet, well, the two tweets that you showed with the person that got an upgraded Logitech like clicker, is that person aware of the fact that that Logitech clicker might also be vulnerable? Because I'm asking because I tested the whole Logitech thingy. I'm well aware. And right now, basically, Logitech devices that are still sold are still vulnerable to these things.
I don't know. I know Philip in person, so I will ask him next time. I'll try to get his presenter. But as he got the information from the Logitech, let me see. Logitech really secure again. We don't know, but it might be that in some cases it still will be some kind of issues. But at the moment, Marcus is playing with different things, so he's occupied with another crazy idea. So if you follow him on Twitter, you will be up to date with hit devices. So, but follow me on Twitter. I will ask Marcus. I will ask Philip next meetup.
Okay, thank you.
And the question from the left, we had the microphone here.
Okay. Hi. It would not be possible for Logitech or for any other vendor to implement some kind of perfect forward secrecy. Because, I mean, even if the encryption algorithm is good and they don't find any vulnerabilities, they still can sniff my traffic. And, I mean, a keyboard, for instance, is something typically people give little to no value. So if I type something that I don't want to share, people can sniff it and then come back later, take my keyboard, smash it, look on the chip or something like that, and read the key. And that's not good, I think.
Yeah, here the AAS is, when it's, the communication is encrypted with AAS. So AAS is kind of okay, right?
Okay.
But the problem is with key interchange, how to this. Well, there are some limitation for that. You have to be close. When you're pairing your mouse or your keyboard, somebody needs to be close to you. Or maybe some cleaning lady would, let's say, if the mouse or the keyboard is already paired, she can unpair everything and force you to pair it again. And sometimes, there are different kind of scenarios. That's why he said this is really huge issue. This is really huge issue. And if you got the keys, and if you're, let's say, recording everything somebody is typing. So let's some CEO typing on his computer. You just record all the keystrokes, and then at some time you get the key for that decryption. And when you get the key, you get the all history what he was typing. So also the usernames and passwords. So that's why you need to also, these small devices, you need to keep them secure. So, but good question.
All right, let's take another one.
Left, right?
Go on the right.
One of the things we tend to rely on is Active Directory and no admin rights. So you can hack my information, but you're getting that user's information alone. You're not having admin rights. You can't run anything on PowerShell. Isn't that a level of security that you could, I know it's not 100% reliable, but at least somehow reliable, isn't it?
What do you mean exactly? If your PowerShell is disabled?
Yeah, PowerShell is disabled on the computer.
Yeah.
You don't have admin rights. So even if you were to send any
the,
commands.
Yeah, but the dongles you don't need to administrate rights because they're installed automatically, so you don't need
Yes.
for that. But anyway, and if I manage somehow to get into the communication between your keyboard and your machine, then this machine is mine. And your digital identity is mine. So I don't need, sometimes I don't need even the administrator rights on that machine or some privileged user in an active domain because I can sniff whatever you type. Or I can open some other programs, not necessarily the PowerShell. But PowerShell can be run in different kind of ways, not only the PowerShell. Remember that. So even if you delete PowerShell.exe, there's actually the what is called the automation somewhere behind, so you don't need. So, but you're welcome.
All right, so I think we have time for one last question. There was a gentleman here gesturing. Do you still want to ask your question?
Okay, the last question.
This is a territory which I didn't explore, this hide vulnerability. I want to ask, everything you showed us today was about Logitech.
Yes.
And there are other devices, and
yes.
these tools can be used on Microsoft mouses, for example.
We have seen, I don't know if you can see it here, but let me see to do my little magic with this. From 2016, not only the devices that have been using no encryption at all, so you have the Microsoft, you have the Dell, you have the IBM, you have Amazon mouses, they are not using encryption at all. So you can easily inject yourself into this non-encrypting communication. And that mouses that are not, let's say, updated or fixed yet, they still can be used as plain as a keyboard. So there are also some other vendors, but these Logitech actually only handles the Logitech issues that are being discovered.
So there are tools for these ones,
Yes,
for these
yes.
models.
Yeah, and these ones are, let's say, from 2016, so 3 years old, and they still haven't patched it.
Great.
Yep.
Can you add on thank you page, mulțumesc? This is a Romanian thank you.
Which? What? Thank you, Paige. Thank you.
All
Is
right.
it in Romania also?
On this note, we would like to express thank you in any language of your choosing,
Okay,
whichever
thank you very
suits
much.
you best.